I have one thing that maybe, but if it doesn't go anywhere, it's okay. We can always change it up.
Yeah.
Um, so like a while ago, a long time ago, I pegged this guy, right? He wanted to get pegged. I pegged him.
I don't know what that means.
Like I put a strap on and like performed
Oh,
anal
is
on
that
this
what that
guy.
means?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. How did I not know that? You think of the two of us, I'd be the one that knew that. Okay. I love it.
So I did this once.
Again, I have learned something. I'm going to go to bed tonight and wake up tomorrow morning going, I'm a better person.
And this is why I can never run for politics.
Okay.
So, but I didn't really enjoy it. Like it wasn't my thing. It was like, tried it. Okay, check it off the box. But it's funny because somebody recently had made a comment about anal play with men and was like, I can't even remember exactly what the comment was, but it was basically like, well, any man who would do that is clearly gay. And I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I don't think this man was gay
Right.
at all. And it really made me think about what, and I was like, well, do you think, or less manly? I think that was kind of like the vibe.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'm thinking, like, I don't think that makes any man any less of a man if that's their preferred sexual experience.
Okay.
And then the other person, there was a third person in the conversation, and they were like, well, then that probably, he may not be gay, but maybe he's, fluid. And I was like, well, maybe. But I just think it's interesting that even now in 2020, 22, one, that we're so judgmental.
Yeah.
I mean, collectively. And then two, it's like, why do we still need to fit people in these boxes?
Right.
Being either gay or straight. Like, I don't know. The whole, I was just like uncomfortable with the conversation and for a couple of reasons. I mean, one, I probably didn't need to really share that I because then, like it got brought up nonchalantly. And then I was like, oh yeah, I pegged a guy once. Like it was just like and then they were like, oh, really? Well, so you've been with a gay man. I'm like, he wasn't gay. It was just something he wanted to explore and experiment and try. And I was like, sure, like,
Yeah.
why not?
Why not?
I, I'm open to trying new things. And yeah, it just went down this whole like, well, God, he's not really a man. And I would never let anybody come near me like that and blah, 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 because there were a couple straight guys. And I'm like, but why? Like, well, how are you so willing to be like, this is not my thing if you aren't willing to fucking try it? Because you
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, like we talked about at the very, very beginning. Who knows? But let me ask you this, and maybe I'm getting tripped up by one word, just one word, and that word is man. So you said they said, well, he's not as much of a man, and I'm like, a man isn't like emotion or thought process. It is physiological makeup,
Mhm,
correct? Okay.
mhm.
So do they mean he's not their thought process is straight. Their thought process is sexual preference because
And they probably wouldn't think any less of a woman doing it, right?
right,
They probably would watch porn in a heartbeat and watch a woman and
with a
like,
strap on doing another woman, that happens all the time if I'm not
and
mistaken.
I love it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's not the manly part of it because I I have I have one gay friend. No, that's not true. I have many gay friends. But I'm just like I don't look at them and go, "Oh, they're not much of a man." That thought doesn't typically cross my mind, right?
Mhm.
I think, how come he looks better in those pants than I do sometimes? I have thought that. But that's about it. And so I'm like I'm curious about the choice of words for these gentlemen. And like, is that their way of distancing themselves from that? Because another thing I will tell you, and this is not a secret, so we're not revealing something that nobody knows about me,
Mhm.
but I love gay porn. It is by far my favorite kind of porn that I will watch. I am not watching straight porn ever. I will not pay for straight porn. I pay for gay porn. You bet.
What is it about gay
You
porn?
know, it's two things. Almost all of them are just fucking hot men with hot bodies. And I realize that for women, the body isn't like the thing, but I do like hot body. I like hard bodies with that little V right down here. And I like naked men. I like it. And the other thing is, in straight porn, it's men taking out aggression on women, and that
Mm.
bothers the shit out of me. Like
Yeah, yeah,
pulling
yeah.
their hair and pushing them down and all that. And it's just can't do it. So I'd rather see men aggression on men aggression. I don't want to see it on women. It's not my thing.
It totally makes sense.
So if I'm gonna, and I like naked men. I like naked men. Now the actual act of fucking, I don't care about. Whatever. But oh yeah, I mean, and they're all hot, right? They all have great bodies. I mean, it's like looking at a magazine, right?
Sure.
That's how I look at it. But I never think of them as not being manly. Like a lot of them are manly, right?
I
So
agree.
I don't understand why you have to jump there right away. Like, why would that be a,
But I think you nailed it. It's straight,
yeah,
right? And I do think, and this is where the judgment comes in that bothers me, is it's like, so does that mean that you put straight men here and then there's gay men and then there's lesbians and then women? Like, what does
yeah.
that mean? Is there some weird
There's a
fucking
hierarchy.
hierarchy that none of us are privy to or really aware of? I
Yeah.
mean, yes, we are very clear that white men make the most money, and then it's black men and then Hispanic men, and I'm sure Asian men are like right near the white men, and then women, and then like, yes, like we're aware that there is a structure, but in terms of, it maybe goes back to what you were talking about, value, right? Like and then yet at the same time, now that we're talking about it, it's like, I guarantee if they saw some guy with a machete who was ripped walking down an alley, they wouldn't ask him if he was gay or not.
No.
Like, right?
And he might be, by the way.
It could be.
Now,
Doesn't matter.
what if they're bi? Like, does that allow in their minds to be acceptable?
I'm not
Because
sure.
obviously the guy's bi. He's fucking you. If he was gay, I mean, just by definition of the word, correct? You could
Right.
have
So that was
sex.
part of the conversation. So that was
One.
part of the conversation because there was one gay man that was in the conversation,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, maybe he's on his way to gay.
Yeah.
Like he still isn't comfortable going like fully all the way. So this is his way of like experimentation. And then his next step would be potentially being with a man. But it was interesting because when I talked to the guy, he was definitely like, no, I love women.
Yeah.
Like it has nothing to do with wanting to be with a man.
Yeah. And above and beyond that, so one more question. And that is, I've sort of answered it myself as well, because um, there's an entire segment of the population that has sex in this manner, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
And they keep going back for more,
Yeah.
right? Like it's them. That's who they are. So my question is, maybe the rest of the men are missing out on a pleasure that far exceeds anything we could know because we don't experiment in that same realm. Now, I have had a little ass play before, on me. There's this guy, he wanted to fuck me in the ass so bad. And I'm like, dude, it's an exit, right? Like, that's what it is. For me, nothing has ever been in there, except maybe a thermometer when I was a baby. So maybe we're missing out, and maybe men are
Maybe,
missing out.
maybe. I have no, yeah,
I
I
mean, there's an
don't know.
entire segment of the population that seems to keep going back to that same thing. So maybe
No,
they know something we don't know.
I was just listening to a podcast a couple days ago, and they were talking about this, a similar topic, and they were saying like it's a totally different orgasm. Like you should be open to it and try it because there are glands or areas, or I don't know what the fuck it is, but
Yeah.
like that are supposed to be great. And I was listening going, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
Hey,
see. I think I'd have to be pretty drunk.
really? Okay. We may cut this out because this may be too much information. OMG, done correctly. Yes, please. Again and again and again. So that's a really, I mean, obviously you got to be clean and you got to have things, in place. But I'm just saying, it's okay if you do not feel you want to try. And I know this is true because my sister and I have had this conversation many times about me being not a lesbian, right? I'm not a lesbian. I probably should be. It'd be great if I was, maybe. I don't know, but I'm just not. And it's not something we pick, right?
Have you
There's
ever
no
had sex with a woman?
no. Mm-mm. And I'm not like, oh my God, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. I'm just like, yeah, I like dick. I like it.
Yeah, not your thing.
It is my thing, right? It's not that I'm like, I'm like, it just makes me happy. It's what I like. It works for me. It, what are you gonna do? I got fake dicks in my bedroom. I can invite a real dick over if I want to. It's all good. But I do not I don't want to condemn or anyone for wanting what they want as long as it's legal, like sex with children. No, I
Oh yeah,
condemn.
no, that's
Obviously.
not, never okay, right?
Yeah. Or rape, which actually it's on my list, my
Or
topic list.
animals.
Oh my, well, I don't know. No, I'm kidding.
You're
I'm
full
kidding.
of shit.
As Eloise is right here to say hello. No,
Mhm.
of course not. Nothing that cannot speak for itself, obviously.
Well, consent. It's about consent
Yeah, it's 100%
and
about consent.
adult consent, right?
Yeah. So in that sense, but I'm like, I, and maybe that's just it. Like for me, like I've been hit on by several lesbians in my lifetime, which I'm thankful for. At least I'm attracted to someone. But it's just not, I mean, it's not like, oh, that's gross. It's just like, no. Mm-mm.
Not
Now,
interested. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, do you want to go out and have a cocktail? Absolutely. I'm in. But I'm not necessarily interested. But then again, what do I know? Maybe one day I'll change my mind. I'm not saying no way in hell, never. I'm just saying, yeah, it's not how I feel right now. But I don't understand why people can just like get so vehemently angry about the thought process. And that's true of the religious right. And that's true of um who is not Proud
Vegans.
Boys. Yeah, vegans. Vegans a fine example. Or eco terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of communicating to me what your values are. I'm all in. Tell me what you believe. I'm totally in. And I may not agree with you, but then again I may. But in the meantime, come alongside me. Like partner with me, be my friend if that's what you want. Win me over by your actions, but not by your crazy spewing.
Mm-hmm.
um And that's true of some guy that wants a girl to peg him, right? Now, if you don't want to peg a man, don't do it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's
It's
not your
not, yeah,
thing.
yeah.
If it
No.
makes you uncomfortable as a woman, don't do it.
Listen, I totally get why women would love it. It wasn't my thing, but
Yeah,
like I totally get why
I
someone,
think
because
I think I would love it. To be perfectly honest, I think I would like it more than I should. And I would be taking out some aggression that I shouldn't be taking out, is what I was thinking. So I could see why nobody would ask me to do it to them, to be perfectly honest. But wow, interesting, Freedom. And I did learn something. I learned a new word.
I am so shocked that you didn't know it. I
Didn't
have
know.
to admit.
Well, if I ever open up my adult friend finder site again, I used to have a profile on adult friend finder, which that was a bad idea because that's like shooting fish in a barrel, really. And I'll
Especially
put that on there.
Vegas.
Yeah, no, I did it in Portland, which turns out it's even easier.
Ooh, I can imagine.
There's a lot of pent up frustration in Portland. So now, if you want to hear the extended version of this show or some of our outtakes, go to our Patreon page, which will be listed below. And don't forget to subscribe.